Hey, what is happening, guys? It's Rules for Rebels here, and I have some big news to share with you guys today. And some of you guys may think it's positive, some of you guys may think it's negative. I'm kind of undecided on how I feel about it. So, Amazon is no longer allowing incentivized reviews. So, what are incentivized reviews? Incentivized reviews are when a seller gives a product away either for free or at a discounted price in return for an honest review. So you're not asking for a positive review, you're not asking for a 5-star review, you're just saying, I'm going to give this product to you, the buyer. All I ask is that you leave me an honest review with your opinion. Now, some people argue that people who get free products in exchange for reviews tend to inflate the review because they feel kind of a debt to the person who gave it to them. There's a lot of sellers out there, or a lot of reviewers out there, buyers I should say, who you take their reviews very seriously and are like, look, if a product deserves 1 star, I give it 1 star. So, there's a whole lot of debate over whether incentivized reviews are good for Amazon or bad for Amazon. I'll just kind of talk briefly about what incentivized reviews are for any of you guys who are maybe a little bit out of the loop with this. So basically, Amazon sellers want to get reviews. Why? Because A, it helps buyers know what they're buying, answer some questions that maybe weren't answered by the listing, etc. Also, two, by having more reviews, it plays into Amazon's search algorithm, and the more reviews you have, the higher you rise up in Amazon searches. So there's obviously sellers want to give away free products in return for reviews because it makes people more likely to buy from them, and also it makes them rank higher in search. And just kind of an interesting stat, if you guys are wondering, the magic number of reviews is 16. Amazon actually states that once you have 16 reviews, your product is just as likely to convert to a sale with 16 reviews as it is with 16,000 reviews. Now, I find that kind of hard to believe, but Amazon says that's true. So anyhow, that's why people give away free products. So how do they do this? There's Facebook groups that do this, there's email lists that do this, and then you have a lot of review websites where buyers can actually go on and shop for products that are free or discounted. And examples of these would be like AMZ Review Trader or Review Kick. So, as of yesterday, October 3rd, 2016, Amazon is saying no more. It's not allowed anymore. Keep in mind, in the past, this was a perfectly acceptable practice. It was right in Amazon's terms of service. It was allowed. There were a couple catches to it. You could not give somebody money to leave you a review, but you could give them a free product. The only catch was that the buyers who were leaving those reviews, and you've probably read some reviews like this, it has to say somewhere in the review, typically at the end of the review, disclaimer, I did receive this product for free in exchange for my honest review and opinion, or disclaimer, I did receive this product at a heavily discounted price in exchange for my honest review. So that's basically what review exchanges are. That's what it means when people talk about quote-unquote incentivized reviews. So it's no longer allowed. However, here's the interesting part. Amazon still says you can still give away free products and you can still give away discounted products. It just can't be in exchange for a review. So what does this mean? It's kind of vague. So I can still give products away for free, but it can't be in an exchange for a review. So does that mean I can give products to people, and if they just so happen to choose to do so, leave me a review, that's okay? To me, this seems kind of stupid. It almost seems kind of like semantics, where I'm going to talk about Review Kick in a little while because that's my favorite review exchange site as a buyer as well as a seller to use. And Review Kick actually put up a statement on their website today, and I'll go over that in a second here. But they're basically saying we're going to stay in business, we're going to keep doing this. We have changed our terms of service that buyers who receive products are not required to leave the seller a free review. However, when sellers are choosing the people to give products to, they can see how many reviews you left, they can see the average feedback score you gave, etc. So if I'm a seller and I'm going to give a product to people, who am I going to give a product to? Am I going to give a product to a person who doesn't leave many reviews? Probably not. Am I going to give my product to a person whose average reviews level out to 2 or 3 stars? Probably not. So, this whole thing kind of boils down to semantics, and it's kind of stupid to me. And Amazon has left the terms kind of vague with this, and I think they do that intentionally. If they actually spelled out everything, which is probably what most of us would like them to do so that we can make sure we adhere to the policies, then they kind of lock themselves into a corner. So Amazon purposely leaves things kind of vague to leave it up to their discretion. So I may have mentioned this, but as of yesterday, October 3rd, 2016, this is no longer allowed. Where this kind of causes a problem is there's a lot of people, myself included, who have free products that we either received or are en route to us that we haven't yet left a review on. So, Jim over here gave me backpack in exchange for a review, and this happened last Wednesday. Well, as of yesterday, I'm not allowed to leave him a review as part of that exchange, right? So I'm not fulfilling my duty to Jim by not leaving the review, but I'm violating Amazon's policy by leaving the review. And Amazon hasn't really given any direction of what to do in this instance. Let me refer to my notes here. A couple kind of common complaints like that I'm hearing from people. The old reviews that were left in exchange for a product, they're not going to be taken down. Those are going to remain up there. So a lot of people are complaining, especially new sellers, like, look, all of these people who've been doing this for a long time are essentially grandfathered in. You have people who built up hundreds of reviews on products by giving away free products in exchange for reviews, and they have 500 reviews, and now I'm starting from scratch, or maybe I just started a new private label product, and I'm not allowed to do the same thing that they did to get the reviews. So if I'm just organically getting my reviews, if I sell 100 products, I may get, 2 or 3 reviews a month. I'm never going to catch up with them just organically getting reviews. So a lot of people are complaining that it's kind of unfair, the deck is stacked. One piece of advice I would give you guys is try to find new products. And I know it's not like new things aren't coming out every day. Like hoverboards were a new product last year, so everybody started on a level playing field. If you're selling a koozie, if you're selling a water bottle, people have been selling koozies and water bottles forever, right? So if I enter into this category and I'm forced to play by these new rules and get organic reviews, I'm competing against a guy who has 1,500 reviews that he built up by giving away free products. So I'm never really going to catch him. It's going to be really hard as a new seller to compete. However, let's say some new product comes. I'm having a hard time thinking about one off the top of my head. But let's say like some new attachment for a laptop or something comes out that's never been sold before. Well, that's a good product to get into because now nobody has reviews because the product hasn't existed in the past, and it's a level playing field. We're all fighting for organic reviews together. But it's going to be tough to find new products. But just one tip: if there is something new that hasn't been sold or that doesn't already have a lot of reviews, that would be a good area to enter because you're not competing against somebody who for the past year has been giving away 25 free products a month away in exchange for a review. Let's see, one lesson here, and this is kind of a side note, but I talk a lot about don't violate control. I think I even have a video talking about don't violate control. And what does violating control mean? Violating control means you're giving away too much of your power, too much of your control, and putting it in a third party. So there's a lot of Amazon reviewers out there who basically, I don't know if you want to say they've built a business. Actually, I should. There's a lot of Amazon reviewers out there who have basically built a business around getting free products and leaving reviews. And it's not entirely built around Amazon. A lot of these people have blogs and YouTube channels and stuff. But if you're a product reviewer and, let's see how we're doing on time. If you're a product reviewer and you're only leaving your reviews on Amazon and you don't have a blog or anything, this pretty much ends your career. However, if you have a blog with a strong following, if you have a YouTube channel with a strong following, even though it's not quite as great as getting the review on Amazon, you may still have company, especially since they're not allowed to do it anymore, you may have companies contacting you saying, hey, I know you got a pretty good following on your blog for such and such type of, for camping items or whatever. We'd like to give you a free product in exchange for you to feature it on your blog or talk about it on your blog. So people who have their own blogs, their own YouTube channels, their own strong social media followings, they're going to be at an advantage because if you were only leaving reviews on Amazon, your entire thing is done. If you also have a blog or something else, you can continue doing things there. So it kind of waits to be seen whether that'll be kind of the next strong focus of reviewers and companies wanting to get reviews, is giving away free products to feature on YouTube channels, on blogs, etc. Because that is still allowed. Amazon can't, Amazon says you can still give away free products and you can't do it for a review on their platform, but there's nothing said about not doing it for a review on other platforms. And the other thing, I may have touched on this a little bit earlier, but basically, is it still okay? Like, ReviewKick basically says they're going to keep doing the status quo. I can still keep getting free products. Sellers can keep giving me free products, but it can't be with the understanding that a review is going to be left. So you're probably going to have some people like milking the system and just like getting all this free stuff and never leaving any reviews, even though the whole idea behind it is that they should be leaving reviews. There's another thing I'd like to discuss, and that is unintended consequences. So what is an unintended consequence? We hear about things like the government is notorious for unintended consequences. So like, hey, we want all these people in these, really in these communities that were really hurt hard by the economy to own homes. So let's take away all the credit standards and all the debt to income ratio standards and stop asking people how much money they make and just start think about like Detroit, Cleveland, Ohio, like, cities in the Rust Belt that were really hit hard by the recession or by, manufacturing leaving the country. Like, hey, these people should all have houses. We want Americans to be homeowners. So let's give all these people's houses. And because there's no jobs in those communities, of course, they can't pay for that. And it's not their own fault, but because there's no jobs, you can't pay for the house. And then we have the housing crash of 2008. So, I mean, that's an example of an unintended consequence. So an unintended consequence with this Amazon thing is the way that Amazon sort of leaves this open. Right now, I'm going to touch on this in a minute, but basically, I would recommend you guys who are reviewers as well as sellers giving away free products, I would stop what you're doing, put a halt on things, and wait to see how things shake out, see if people are getting suspended. Once you're suspended, it's pretty much a lifetime suspension. Amazon kind of sucks at customer service and getting back to you, so good luck trying to communicate with them. You pretty much have to pester Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon, and the executive offices with emails. Don't ask me how I know that. I had to go through that a number of times. But yeah, it's really tough to get back on. So I would say put the brakes on everything you're doing right now, and let's wait for some more clarification to come out like this. But in terms of unintended consequences, technically, according to Amazon's policies, sellers can still give away products, reviewers can still get free products, but there can't be this exchange. So can I still go on ReviewKick, request free products without the understanding that I'm going to leave a review, but it just so happens that I leave a review for like everything I buy, so I leave one. If you're doing this excessively, getting a lot of discounts and promotions and free products, I have a feeling, even though technically speaking you're within policy, I have a feeling Amazon might suspend your account or stop letting your reviews count or something like that. So I'd put the brakes on things. But here's the problem, is if a seller gives, in the past, according to FTC guidelines, if I got a free product, I was required to mention a disclaimer that I got the product for free or at a discounted price. Well, now that a seller is giving me a free product and there is no obligation, no relationship, no exchange of my review for a product, I no longer have to follow those FTC guidelines. So at least, a lot of people complain about incentivized reviews, but at least in the past, there was a warning right in the review. It said, look, I got this thing, I'm leaving this review, but I did get this product for free. So it's basically saying, take this review with a grain of salt. I have a bias in this review, etc. Well, now that I'm not doing an exchange of a review for a product, I am no longer required to leave this disclaimer. So now you're going to have a lot of reviews that are being left by people who got a free product who are leaving the review, but they're not required to let you know that they got the free product and that they have a bias with the product. So to me, that's kind of, it almost makes it worse. You may not like free reviews, but at least before it was cut and dry which ones were biased and which weren't. Now there's no need for disclaimers anymore because there's no longer this exchange, and that kind of leaves things open to kind of run haywire. So let me quickly talk about what ReviewKick. Actually, I'm going to save that for another video. We're going to do that in a separate video. I'm just going to go quickly kind of scan through an article I read earlier. This news is like less than 24 hours old, so my main priority was to let you guys know. And like I said, my suggestion is that buyers and sellers stop doing this immediately. Give it a couple days, maybe even a week or two, and let's wait till we get some clarification. One other thing I wanted to add, there will still be incentivized reviews, but it will be through something called the Amazon Vine program. Now, nobody knows about how you get into the Amazon Vine program. I think Amazon just randomly taps you on the shoulder and is, not taps you on the shoulder literally, but sends you an email. Hey, do you want to be, we like your reviews. Would you like to be part of the program? So Amazon chooses the products that get these free reviews, and Amazon also chooses the buyers who receive these free products. So let's think about this. I have a feeling Amazon is going to be choosing people to review their own products as opposed to third-party products, and or Amazon is going to select products which they make the best margin on, because obviously Amazon is out for themselves and their shareholders, which they should be. They have a fiduciary responsibility to do so, but just something to be aware of. So Amazon is making significant changes to its community guidelines announced today, which will eliminate incentivized reviews that emerge from. Okay, so I think the other thing, Amazon is greedy, right? Like they want to get all the money. So I think Amazon doesn't like that AMZ Review Trader and ReviewKick and all these other sites are making money by bringing these people together. If anyone's going to make money off Amazon, it's going to be Amazon. So I think that kind of also plays a role in this. Amazon has historically prohibited compensation for reviews, even going so far as to sue businesses who pay for fake reviews, as well as the individuals who write them, in an effort to make its review and rating system fair and more helpful to online shoppers. However, it has allowed businesses to offer products to customers in exchange for their honest review. The only condition was that reviewers would have to disclose their affiliation with the business in question in the text of their reviews. Reviewers were generally offered the product for free or at a discounted price in exchange for reviews. So they say shoppers have begun to distrust reviews because of this, but they really shouldn't. Like, you can see which reviews were sponsored and which weren't. And it's not just a feeling. As it turns out, a recent study of over 7 million reviews indicated that the average rating for products with incentivized reviews was higher than non-incentivized ones, which I think is kind of natural. I think that's fair to say. That is a 4.74 average rating versus a 4.36 out of 5 stars. So not dramatically different as you might expect. They say, however, even with a 0.38 star difference, the impact was substantial, boosting products from the 54th percentile to the 94th percentile. Effectively incentivized reviews. Hey, what's up, guys? Rules for Rebels back again. And if you're wondering, it didn't just instantly turn from daytime to nighttime. It's kind of funny. As I'm making this video about this new policy change, I get a phone call. I ignored it the first time, and the second time I just picked it up because I was distracted. But it was actually a good friend of mine who's actually my accountant calling me. He's just getting into private labeling stuff. He placed his first order, which probably larger than I would suggest somebody do on a first order. He placed his first order for, I forget whether it was $15,000 or 15,000 units. But either way, a pretty substantial order. And I've been helping him and talking with him since like last winter, and he's been kind of slow to get things rolled out. Like, his thing isn't just going to be some like little Amazon product. Like, he's actually going to try to sell it to a larger industry, and it's going to grow into something hopefully much larger than Amazon. So I understand why he's taking a little bit longer to get started with it. But he's been kind of dragging his feet for a few months, maybe going on as long as a year. And in that time, now his marketing plan, which was giving away not free products, but heavily discounted products, basically giving them away at cost in return for reviews, that marketing plan is totally screwed because as of yesterday, this policy change doesn't allow him to do that. So now he's got $15,000 or $15,000. He's very secretive about it. I don't even know what the product is. He won't tell me the category, which is totally understandable. But yeah, so sorry guys, totally got lost here. So yeah, he's got all these units. His whole marketing plan, or a big part of his marketing plan, which was to give away the free products for reviews, is kind of blown out of the water. So now he's looking at influencers and looking at other marketplaces, and it just kind of shows why it's really, I would rather get a product out that needs some work or has some problems and correct it as I shouldn't say that. You don't want to put out a shitty product, but you guys get the point. I think taking action is more important than having things perfect. And I think he maybe should have moved a little bit quicker on things. But let's see. Picking up where we left off discussing this article, these reviewers has become a windfall of sorts. Okay, so technically these reviewers are not compensated with cash, but writing reviews has become a windfall of sorts. Those who participate in incentivized reviews have written an average of 232 reviews. The average study indicated, while those who have not only wrote an average of 31 reviews. That's a lot of free and discounted products for these quote-unquote non-compensated reviewers. Amazon says that going forward, the only incentivized reviews, and I talked about this, will be those from Amazon Vines. These don't work the same way. For starters, Amazon selects who will be allowed to review products and does so mainly to boost the review count on a new or pre-release product. Vine reviewers are invited to join the program only, so it's invitation only, and only have a number of reviews voted as helpful. We do not incentivize positive star reviews, blah, blah, blah. Unrevised addition vendors don't have any. Okay, so vendors also don't have any contact with the reviewers. Something that you've seen happen sometimes on some platforms is people like reach out to the reviewer like, hey, why'd you leave me a 2-star review? And I can understand this frustration as a seller. I know I was giving away free products, and a lot of people just like grab everything that's for free. Like, I sell parts to fix things, and half the people who grab my free products, like, they don't even own the thing that they're buying a part for. Or another example, like, you guys have probably seen the Yeti mug handles. I know somebody who sells those and is in that space, and they give away a lot of free ones, and a lot of the people who are taking their Yeti mug handles don't even own a Yeti mug. So it's like, what do you how can you really leave in a review? What are you even buying this for, etc.? But I know in one instance I gave somebody a piece of jewelry, and the piece of jewelry was one size fits all. I clearly stated what size wrist it will fit, I clearly stated how long the piece of jewelry was. Somebody got it via a free review and then complained about the size and was like, if you have anything larger than a medium-sized wrist, it won't fit. And I'm like, hey, idiot, why did you knew what size it was? Like, if you want to take the free product and give it to your granddaughter or whoever else, by all means do it. But, like, you know what size it is. I clearly state what it fits. You have a fat wrist and you order it and then complain that it's not big enough. Like, that stuff kind of annoys me. Like, I gave you something for free and you're leaving me a 2-star review, like, dragging down my listing. But I would never reach out to a buyer and complain about something like that. But, Amazon spokesperson tells us that reviews were received prior to the policy change are only being retroactively removed if they are excessive and don't comply with prior policy. That means you'll see a ton of these seemingly biased reviews live on Amazon. Unfortunately, the retailer also says that if it finds anyone is attempting to manipulate reviews, and I think it cut off. Here is one more thing from the Amazon blog. I'll read you quickly, and then we'll kind of cut this video off. So October 3rd, 2016, customer reviews are one of the most valuable tools we offer customers for making informed purchase decisions, and we work hard to make sure they are doing their job. In just the past year, we've improved review rating by introducing a machine-learned algorithm that gives more weight to newer, more helpful reviews, applying stricter criteria to qualify for the Amazon Verified Purchase Badge, and suspending, banning, or suing thousands of individuals for attempting to manipulate the reviews. Our community guidelines have always prohibited compensation for reviews, with an exception. Reviewers could post a review in exchange for a discounted product as long as they disclose that fact. These so-called quote-unquote incentivized reviews make up only a tiny fraction of the tens of millions of reviews on Amazon, and when done carefully, they can be helpful to customers by providing a foundation for new or less well-known products. Today, we updated the community guidelines to prohibit incentivized reviews unless they are facilitated through the Amazon Vine program. We launched Vine several years ago to facilitate these kinds of reviews and have been happy with the feedback. Here's how Vine works. Amazon, not the vendor or seller, identifies and invites trusted and helpful reviewers on Amazon to post opinions about new and pre-release products. We do not incentivize positive star ratings, blah, blah, blah. Who cares about the rest of this? One more thing, just some food for thought or to play devil's advocate. So some of you guys are probably like, this is great, they're getting rid of these. Other of you are probably like, this is terrible, they're getting rid of these. For anybody who thinks influencers or professional reviewers, etc., aren't good for the Amazon community or aren't good for reviews, when people get free or discounted products, they oftentimes have a chance to try several different products. So let's say, for example, I have a blog in the camping, outdoors, hiking niche. Now, I'm probably going to be contacted by a lot of companies who sell items in that space and say, hey, we'd like to send you a free product. We just want to know what you think about it, right? So an example that I heard somebody else, another reviewer, talk about, you guys have probably seen these like inflatable hammocks. It almost looks like a beanbag or one of those love sacks. He said he had 3 of them. He got 3 of them from different companies. He left reviews for each one. Now, if you're thinking about buying a product, if I've tried out one of these and leave a review, I may think it's nice, but this other reviewer who's had the chance to try out 3 of these, he can say, I really like this one, it's really comfortable, but I really like how this one, the blue one, has a cup holder on it so I can put my drink there, because it is kind of hard to get out of, and if you have a beverage and you're having to constantly hop out of this thing, it's a bit... So he can compare and contrast a couple different units because he got a couple different ones. So there are some insights and some helpful stuff that these quote-unquote professional or incentivized reviewers can offer. So I know it's been kind of a long, rambling video, guys, but I wanted to give you all the information. This information is still kind of new and fresh, so everyone's just kind of figuring things out. The information Amazon provided us with was kind of vague. I kind of touched on all my issues about how it seems like this is still kind of allowed, and it's just a semantics game of like, it can't be an exchange. I can give something for free, you can review me, but we can't have this exchange. However, I do think you could potentially be suspended as a buyer or a seller for doing this. So all in all, what are your guys' thoughts? If you're a reviewer, what do you think about this? If you're a seller, what do you think about this? And if you're just an Amazon shopper, what do you think about this? Please drop your comments below. I've been hearing mixed things on both sides about some people thinking it's negative, some people is thinking it's positive. So I really want to hear what you guys have to think. Drop a comment below, like the video if I taught you something or if you enjoyed it. And if you're not subscribed, please smash that subscribe button. So thank you guys for watching. I apologize for the interruption and the dark screen now. But like I said, I thought it was kind of funny. As I was making a video on this topic, my accountant, who's getting into private labeling, called me and kept me on the phone for about an hour talking about this. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll talk to you later.